What is up, y'all? We are out here in the Rural King parking lot because we just dropped my daughter off at school. So I stopped here. I went over my emails. I created some social media content, went over my bank statements. So now I want to jump on here, chit chat with you guys before we move on to our next appointment of the day. We've been rocking and rolling. It's been pretty fun. We've got a kitchen that we're going to remodel for an amazing client here in Bonita Springs, about to start. She's going to be living in the house when we're doing it, so we're going to wait until we have all the materials. The last thing to do right now is get the stone for the countertops over to the fabricator so that he's ready to go when we pull the trigger, and we can turn that stone around in a day or two. So that's our last piece of that puzzle before we get that started. We also had some other general contracting jobs going on. We're putting in a mini split and a whole home generator at a client's house off of out in Estero off of Corkscrew down that way. They're building a lot of homes, so that was a fun project. We got to team with a great electrician and air conditioning company that we work with to get that done. Also have some drywall repairs, some tile installations that are going to come up as soon as permits are figured out for that client. She's handling her own permits. So we just have to play the waiting game until they're ready. We're not going to deal with any of that. We're going to act as a subcontractor. So other things that have been going on, man, I've just been sitting I've been journaling a lot more. What I'll do, it's really less of a journal and just kind of like my key takeaways from the day before, like what went on that I think I did well, what are some things I need to continue to recognize and do better about, and kind of go from there. I felt myself this week doing a lot better, just not letting things kind of get to me. I'm trying to practice all these things that I'm learning in the Stoicism book and in the Bible about, just truly having faith, and if you truly have faith, then you're going to have peace and things are not going to bother you so much. So I've been really practicing that. And then, obsessive compulsive disorder, that's, really to me, it's in the very back seat of my life at this point, but it's always there. And it's something that I need to, stay vigilant about, or it can, creep back in and mess up days in my brain where I'm ruminating and things like that. So I'm always taking little notes about obsessive compulsive things that go on in the day, how I handled them, how I would do them differently. And I really think that that's a great practice, and it's a good way to just start that journaling. Everybody talks about journaling and how they want to journal, but this is like a great practice. And mine are like just a couple sentences from the day before about what was going on, where we're at, and how we want to react to those things moving forward. And I had like a really big realization yesterday. I guess it's not really profound or anything, but it's just how OCD can really just create problems that aren't even there. And we know that they can create problems in our mind, but they can also create problems in the real world that are not even there. And an example of that would be like yesterday we were training jiu-jitsu with my daughter. We have to miss her class tomorrow. We have some family coming into town, so we're going to visit with them. So we were training jiu-jitsu and, moving my body around. My OCD is always hyper aware of how I'm feeling, how my joints are feeling. Probably a little bit of PTSD from all those surgeries I had back to back. So I'm always hyper aware of that. When we got done training, my OCD wanted to emphasize the fact that, hey, your right shoulder's a little bit sore. And I had trained chest earlier in the day, so, it would be kind of normal for my front of my shoulder to be a little bit sore. I trained pretty hard yesterday. So I decided to drop down and do a bunch of sets of push-ups, which only made my shoulder more sore. And the reason for doing those push-ups was not to get an extra little pump in. It was to show my OCD. It was really honestly a compulsion. Like the OCD says my shoulders hurt. Well, do some push-ups to prove that it's not. And it's like, this is so ridiculous. Like, why are we out here even doing this? So that was a note that I wrote down today, was like, be aware when your OCD is pushing you to do something. Even if you think in your mind like, well, I was doing those push-ups just to like check my shoulder. It's like, no, you weren't. You knew your shoulder's fine. You knew why it was sore. Don't go in there messing with it. You're just feeding into the OCD. So even I you know, I sit here and I preach about this stuff, but I preach about this stuff because I need to continue to learn and practice it. I do this to hammer it home for myself. I'm no different than anybody watching this video, but I can say that I have a good understanding of how to deal with it these days and how to not react to the anxieties. So that's kind of what's going on. What else is going on? You know, my daughter's growing up. She's amazing. It's really fun having a little kid. You know, we also have my younger daughter who I just dropped off at school. She'll be 3 in May. But now my older daughter, she's going to be 7, and that's a little kid. Like, I don't have 2 babies anymore. I have a little kid and I have a toddler. So that's really fun because she's got an awesome personality, and she's just like her dad. Like, she's super emotional. Not in the point where like she's all over the place, but I can tell she feels emotions very strong. And sometimes they can overwhelm her a bit. So it's been really rewarding to like be able to sit down and talk to her intellectually about like what she's feeling. I understand how she's feeling and why there's certain ways to handle those emotions as they come up. How sometimes we don't always have to react or feed into them. They can be there, but we don't have to choose to, you know, for lack of a better terms, like identify with them and then let them take us over. So it's been really fun watching her grow up, and I'm excited to continue to watch her grow because she's a little beast, man. She's tough as nails. She was in jiu-jitsu last Friday. I mean, so they were going live. It's her competition class, and this boy had her in a fully locked rear naked choke. I mean, everybody in the room was like, all right, she's about to tap. And she fought out of that choke 2 times. I mean, deeply sunk in the choke. She fought out of that choke 2 times. The bell rang. She lost on points, which is fine. Like, she gained so much more from that match than winning the match by being in there and letting that dog out of her. And she comes over to the cage, and I can just see it in her eyes. You know, I always give her water through the cage, and I can just see it in her eyes that she almost wants to cry. And I just looked at her. I said, baby girl, that was amazing. You showed so much heart. You could just see the tears sink back into her face, her to like get a little stern look on her face and then drink her water. So I love both my kids, but I'm really enjoying watching her grow up and be an instrumental part of developing not only her like her physical, because we do a lot of training, but also developing her mind. So that's fun. I don't know what else is going on. I'm just kind of rambling on to you guys, talking to you guys about my life. I hope everybody's having a great week. Check out the short that I created about TSW. It's been a year, flaring up a little year anniversary flare. Let's go, baby. But we're beating the crap out of TSW. So if you're dealing with that still, just understand that it's going to get better. I don't know how long it'll take. It's going to take some time, but understand this is a process. Stay the course. It will get better. I love you guys. Hit me up. Let me know what's going on. Let me know in the comments some things you want to see from this video, from this channel. Some topics you want me to talk about. I've got some on my board today. Those topics didn't materialize, but we just kind of rambled. But next time we'll get into some of that stuff. I love you guys. Have a great weekend. See you next week.